This is the Narwal Freo Z10, and it won't record you, and that might be one of the coolest features you have with it. So let's take a look at all the new things you get with the Z10. Let's see how well it cleans your floors, and let's see if this is going to be the best Robovacuum, at least the best built Robovacuum of 2025. So this is going to be the Clean Station base. And what we're seeing now in terms of the Dreamy X50 and the Robovac Saros and other manufacturers is the war is not just going to be how well can your Robovacuum clean your floor, it's also how well can your Clean Station clean itself. So this is going to be a tray that you can remove and clean yourself, but at the same time, your Narwal is going to be able to clean this tray better than before. So your Clean Station is going to have buttons on the station itself, so you have some control over. In case you wanted to activate your machine, you don't have to go to the Robovacuum. If your Robovacuum is docked, you can do everything just based off these buttons on the Clean Station itself. So this is going to be your clean water tank here. It's going to be in that purple lavender shade. It really looks nice. Now this is for your clean water. So you have basically the capabilities to control your unit just using the base station without the app. And that's important because normally you would need the app in order to do a lot of this stuff, but they show you and teach you how to do it just with the base station. To test the anti-tangle capabilities of the Narwal Z10, we're going to cut some hair off of this wig, and we're going to cut some long hair. And this is a wig that we've been using. Now our wig has some bangs, and we're going to cut up to about 14 inches. So as you see, we're cutting. Voila. So we have cut hair. So now we have some hair, and we're going to see how well our Narwal Freo Z10 picks up all this hair without tangling it on its side brush, as well as how well it picks it up without getting tangled in its roller. Because the secret here is that the dustbin also is going to be very good at collecting a hair and clearing it out because of the airflow and how it is designed. So let's test it out here together. So this is the hair that our Narwal Z10 picked up with his anti-tangle brush. And the side brushes didn't get stuck, and this is the hair that we pulled out of here. Now the secret of all of these units is that, hey, just because the anti-tangle brush says it's anti-tangled, is it? And we have found that the Narwal is very good at resisting tangles, primarily because of the size of this brush and how the airflow works inside of the dustbin, where the air is going from one end to the other, which is unique to the Narwal. We're going to run a vacuum test using lentils here because we want to test the intelligent particle sensing system, because the Narwal Z10 is going to be able to detect large particles, and it's going to control their side brushes so that it's not going to just scatter that large particle or debris around. So what that means is that the side brushes are going to control themselves based on what it sees in front of it using its tri-laser system. And that's different from a front-facing camera, and this is important because this is going to tell us, can it detect small particles on the floor without having a camera? The Narwal Z10 is able to pick up all of the lentils, and it's able to not scatter them around, which is very difficult for a lot of Robovacuums to do. Because what most Robovacuums like the Dream X50 have decided is actually to decrease or even turn off the side brushes, but on the Narwal they still let it rotate, so it's still sweeping some of that debris inside of the mouth of your unit, again without any front-facing RGB camera. So as you see our Narwal cleaning the kitchen floor, it uses 8N worth of downward pressure, so that it's actually going to be trying to press down on the floor. And that's something that we're noticing on some of the more premium high-end vacuums. Now you can see that I like how the triangle design sticks out, because that edge swing, it just hits those gaps better than just having a circular area. So if you see there, it's going to pivot, it's going to extend it out and try to get as close to all of the edges as possible without having to hit anything or cause scratches on your baseboards. And that's something cool about the Narwal here. The Narwal doesn't touch your baseboards. It doesn't just crash into things. The navigation allows us to get extra close, but it doesn't get too close that you're going to find little white scratches or black scratches everywhere on your unit or on your walls. Now the question is, how effective is the mopping going to be? Is it going to leave streaks? Now we have tried this design on the Freo Z as well as the Freo Z10, and we find that it is equally good on both units, and that's a testament just to how easy it is to operate your narwhal. So then the question is, what can we place on our floor for our narwhal to clean that's gonna be sticky enough, as well as we can test its hot water mopping as well as a hot air drying. So we're gonna spill some Coca-Cola on the floor, and this is a very sticky mix. And you guys know how sticky Coca-Cola is. We're gonna spill it and let our narwhal pick it up. And we'll get it all around. You can see our narwhal is coming to pick and clean up this Coca-Cola mess. And you can see how close it gets to your baseboards without running into the baseboards. And that is something that's very impressive about our narwhal. Next, let's talk about dirt sense, because dirt sense means something else here. What it means is that after your unit finishes its run, it's going to go back home to the base station and it's going to clean its mop pads. And if those mop pads are dirty and the water is dirty, the base station is going to send it back out, because the base station is going to decide if the water is dirty and send it back out, which it did happen here with our Coca-Cola. So it sent it back out to clean again, and I'll send it up to 6 times until the water is clean. So after picking out that Coca-Cola, this is going to be the Narwal Z10, and you can see what it looks like after. Now the mop pads are going to be saturated and they're going to be dirty. So what we want to know is, after running it and cleaning them with detergent, how clean is this going to be? So let's try it and let's see. So the cool thing inside the app is that you can just control your base station from right here. So we're just going to go to our base station and we can decide what we want it to do. So we can have it wash the mop as well as hot water mopping. So we're going to have it wash the mop again. So now it is washing the mop, and you can hear how loud it is as it washes the mop, and we are just about 2 feet away from it. Now the hot water washing is still going to sound just like any other hot water washing machine, but the hot air drying, because it's fully enclosed, is just quieter than units that are not fully enclosed. So there is a benefit with getting one that's going to put your unit inside of a box, as you see here, because it's going to be quieter. So after one hot water washing session that takes about 3 minutes, let's see how clean the mop pads are. So here we're going to turn it around, and wow guys, so you can see that the mop pads are fully clean. That's after that Coca-Cola as well as all that debris on our floors. It picked it all up and it's able to clean these. Right now they are pretty saturated and wet, like almost like it's ready to go off for a mopping session. So what we want to know is, how quickly will the hot air drying clean and dry this mop pad? So it's now 2 hours later. We're going to check if the mop pads are dry. And success, they are dry. They are bone dry actually. See how well it does on a obstacle test, because we have a number of obstacles on our floor. Is it going to run anything over? Is it going to pick everything up? Is it going to get stuck? We're also going to put a cord on the floor and see, is it going to get stuck on the cord as well. In order to understand how the obstacle detection works, let's talk about where the lasers are located. There's going to be lasers on the front, the side, and the top, and that allows it to make a environment around it, so it's going to have the ability to calculate where things are in front of it, similar to a automatic driving electric vehicle. So even though Narwhal is not calling it AI, the obstacle avoidance is the same thing. It uses something that can see in front of it and around it, and there's something on the device that is making real-time decisions, deciding if it's too big or small and what to avoid. It's just not placing those locations or objects onto your map like you get on the X50 or the Robovac Saros. You can see how meticulous the grid pattern is for the Z10. It really just does everything in orderly rows, and it has such a good navigation to keep its location that it really is quite an impressive machine. That lifting function that you saw there, so it can pick itself up, but it just doesn't have that double jointed or the adapt lift you see on some of the other systems. But it can still lift itself over these barriers quite easily, as you see there. It does a wheelie, and it has to decide which wheelie it's going to do, but it does a good job just So now let's talk about the overall weaknesses, because we've named a lot of the strengths, but there are going to be some issues here with your Z10. For number one, well, if you're looking at the clean station and the base station itself, I wish it was a little bit noisier. By that, I mean it is so quiet that I feel like the suction power extracting everything out of the bin is not as effective as it could be. And that could be as simple as a software fix where there's pop the juice, but I thought the original Freo Z had more suction power when it sucked out everything from the bin, and I think that is just a reflection of how quiet they made the Z10. Another potential drawback is that even though it has those tri-laser detection system that's just going to allow it to navigate your home very easily, the difference is that if you have the front-facing camera, if there's sudden changes of what's in front of it, and if it needs to tell if it's a chair or if it's a table, a front-facing camera is still going to do a better job. This laser system is going to give it the overall shape, but it does not give it the color. And even though it's able to detect if there's more debris on the floor, it won't be able to detect if it's going to be a wet stain or not. And that's something you get on the other ultra high-end premium Robovacuums. Not expecting it at this price point, because this Z10 is more priced at the mid-tier, because once we see it on sale, it's going to be closer to about $800, maybe even $700. So this is not meant to compete with the top of the top, which is going to cost you about $1,700 per unit. So this is going to be the vacuum bag for your Narwal Z10. And you notice that the area is not that deep, because behind this, that's where the tanks are going to be located. All right, there is a fan port here with a screen. So if you have any clogs, you can clean this as well. Once you've done cleaning, you just reinsert it, and that's one of those. And then here we just have our bag. I'm going to reinsert that, and our bag is installed. So that's all the various components inside of your clean station. And when you're ready to install it, all you need to do is just push it in and it will lock into place. That actually saves you a lot in terms of just how efficient the detergent is dispensed. If you had to add in that detergent into the clean water tank, it is actually much less efficient. So I actually prefer this way because it uses a lot less detergent. Your detergent goes for much longer, but I wish that they had just a container so I can manually add in the solution of my choice when I want to. You'll also notice how deep the Narwal Freo Z's clean station is. It is way deeper than what you get with the Dreamy or the Robovac, as well as the Robovac. And just insert that tray in, and you lock it in, and there your tray will fit into place. And there's going to be some gaps here, but it looks really clean, it looks good, as well as it's easy to clean, because unlike just having a catch, this entire tray will act as a catch. And then if you want to clean it, you just take it out, and then you will be using a wipe pad or a wipe or a paper towel to just wipe down this area here. And then if you take it out, just use a microfiber towel or some absorbent towel, because that's where all the water is going to be draining into. And this is the area where all the water will be left over. Interesting thing about how the menu is set up for your Freo Z10 is that most of it is going to be automated. So you have vacuum and mop Freo, vacuum then mop Freo, vacuum Freo, and mop Freo. And Freo just means it's fully automated. So when you press it, it just goes, when the Freo mind is on, the robot will adjust cleaning strategies to home. So if you want to do customization, it will go, if you want to do customization, it'll allow you to do everything by room. So you can either pick all rooms or just one room. But if you pick a room, you can decide how you want it to Freo mode. Because if you pick a room, you can either have it on Freo Mind, so that means when you send it out, your AI will decide, or you can decide for it with your vacuum and mop settings, your suction power all the way to super powerful, mopping humidity, low, normal, and wet mopping, standard, and meticulous. So there's a lot of customization you have here, something that you might not be used to, including it will define the rooms for you, and it will let you decide what it does in each room. Secondly, if you're looking at the app itself, it has already detected the carpet and marked it on the floor. So in modern Robovacs, even if you're getting something like the Freo Z10, which is not going to be the most high end of all the Freo units, it is still giving you a lot of versatility. And that's because it's able to sense everything and it's able to finish its job dependably. And that's probably one of the best reasons to check it out. I think if you're looking for a RoboVacuum that is not too expensive and at the same time is going to be able to do a good job with accurate pathing and put enough downward pressure as you see here, so that if you have a carpet or a rug, it's still going to have enough suction power as well as active side brushes that are going to pick everything up and inside of its brush roll. Also shows us not to get too caught up on these suction figures and these games that a lot of these RoboVacuum manufacturers are playing. Because 22,000 Pascal at peak, you're not noticing a big difference in terms of the performance compared to a RoboVacuum that might have 15,000 Pascal suction at peak. Because majority of the time, these guys are operating at about 5 to 8,000 Pascals. Otherwise, they'll run out of battery life pretty fast. So ultimately, what's our verdict on the Narwal Freo Z10? I like it as a RoboVacuum. I think it's innovative. I think the build quality is probably one of the best in the entire industry. And even though you might not get the same features as some of the competitors, you're going to be getting it at a better price, and it's coming with features that other competitors are not giving you. Things that you might be caring about, like not having a front-facing camera. Is that enough for you to take the chance on the Narwal Freo Z10? Well, I hope you do, because I think a lot of us are going to be pleasantly surprised that there's another great RoboVacuum coming out in 2025, and that is the Narwal Freo Z10. So with that, thanks for watching, everybody. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment box below, and please hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help support our channel. And I'll catch you next time. This is Dave with the French Glow signing off. Bye, bye, bye.